I'm just going to show one of the government conversations that we had before. Please don't use the QR code. I forgot to update it, so you won't be able to see anything. Here, we're in crisis. If you remember, KwaZulu-Natal, there's floods everywhere. People have disappeared. The houses have disappeared. Nobody knows what to do, how to do it. One thing that we jumped on was we can't think of using data if there's no way of collecting the data. So where I'm going with this, you just need to be very clear in your mind about, don't try to look at the end, but understand the beginnings of what is there. You might be an answer just because you are coming up with the way of collecting data. So now I'm talking more on the structured data. I'm talking about the demand data where it's needed. And there's no other way of getting it because paper is not an option and it's not going to help us to do anything. So here what we did, people have passed on, houses have been damaged. We then work with what's not our government, okay? Because you can see, this particular government. And one of the critical things was what tools can you stand up within a day to be able to start collecting the information? Because previously, they just work normally, they just use paper. And it takes them 2 months to get it from paper into visualization of what might have happened. So what we came up with cleverly, we use simple tools. Like if you go and just open up something called Microsoft Forms, it actually comes in as a part of the form. You can just tailor make it from a spreadsheet into actually start using and having people to collect data much more faster. I mean, I always want to be democratic. You can actually use Survey 123, which is as the tool. You can be able to do more or less the same thing, can you create an app? But Microsoft, part of the addition to what you guys know as Power BI is all the families of Power Platforms that are actually being used to actually harvest this data. Using this particular power of this platform, we're able to create some of the apps that could be able to collect data faster all the way to visualization. And what we did better here to reach the whole part was what I explained earlier about the tools that are there, created the lake itself or repository at the time, then be able to match it with other repository has this thing in the national level and into the local level. We then plugged it back into the hub. The hub was where the province was actually always working to make calls and to make decisions. We then were able to produce this back into their normal work and to ensure that they can be able to achieve what you're going to see next, where you have one decision maker seeing one kind of platform with all this information in the background, and the decision can be made from this level. You can just imagine whether you can have a mayor, you can have a president who only just look here and be able to make a decision about how many more hospitals to be built, where they need to be built, and where is the pressure that is, what kind of disease control needs to be implemented, and why to be implemented, what kind of campaigns I'm currently running, which are informing some of the good decision or bad decision. What is the last speech I've made, and what are the other speeches that are actually colliding back into the whole part in this particular part. So if you think about it, that is the vision. That is what we're driving with this particular government part, client, just to make sure that they're not just using data for the sake of data. They're using data to make decisions that are critical today in front of them when they are they are actually confronted with some of the crises. I will just move into where I found you guys in when you're talking about Power BI. Then Power BI is the end. It's our billboard of all the hard work that we do in the background. I mean, it's our billboard that is able to work according to the map and be able to aggregate data and make sure it's plotted correctly. It's our billboard that can analyze on our behalf and inform a business user. So the most important thing here, it's not about me. It's about the potential business user for decision making and for where it's supposed to go and what's supposed to be done. I will pass this one because I want to do some demo. That's what is important for me, I think, in this part. So what did it do for that particular flood thing that you saw? This is some of the flood related dashboards that we were able to produce just for decision making. These are the kind of heat maps that we were able to show where exactly the problem was and how you could be able to deal with the problem in that particular level. What were the trending issues that were actually happening in that particular part for this particular government part? What were damages that were caused, including other damages? How much in damage we could have been facing and what in the past. How many schools? I mean, you can just imagine. I mean, now we can make so much interesting decisions because this data is being put in the background.